Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy podcast. I'm your host, Jason Duprat, and we are back here for another Tactical Tuesday episode. On this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about search engine optimization, also known as SEO, and why it's so important that you are thinking about SEO all the time, because SEO can generate you free patients or very, very low cost patients. And so it's critical that you understand what it is and how to optimize your clinic's website so that you can get the maximum benefits from it, right? So search engine optimization is exactly what it sounds like. It is optimizing your clinic's website so that Google, Yahoo, Bing, all the various search engines can find your website, understand what's on the website, and hopefully, if it's good stuff, it will get presented higher in the search engine rankings. That is the goal of search engine optimization. You are fine-tuning your website so that Google, let's just go with Google, because 92% plus of all searches on a search engine happen on Google or Google Maps. So it's the number one player in the game. So you're really pretty much just optimizing for Google. You can spend time trying to optimize for the other 8% if you want to, but if you're optimizing for Google, you're going to get a good result on Bing or on Yahoo or the other search engines as well. So you want to get in those top 3 to 5 search rankings, something around 95, 98, I forget the exact statistic, but it's right up in there. Nearly 100% of search clicks. So when somebody goes to Google and then they type in a search phrase and they click on one of the results, somewhere around 97-ish% happen on the first 5 search results that pop up. So you need to be in those top 5 search results if you have any business whatsoever. Most of you are probably clinic owners, but if you have any healthcare business, any business, it doesn't really matter what it is. If you have a business and you want low cost traffic, low cost leads, low cost customers, you have to show up in the top 5 search results for Google. If you don't, expect to pay a lot for ads. You have to have paid advertisements to get people to your website to know what it is that you offer or deliver. The alternative to paid ads is social media marketing or word of mouth referral. You'll never get word of mouth referral unless you have customers, right? You have to have those first initial customers or patients to start spreading the word. And you're going to need probably a couple hundred of them in order to spread the word quickly to the point where it's going to help impact your business. So you can't rely on word of mouth to get started. You have to put time, energy, effort into search engine optimization, into some social media marketing, and probably even into some paid ads. But for us, the biggest, best, most profitable return on marketing investment dollars has been on search engine optimization, hands down. We've gotten our course websites to rank in the top 5 search results for a bunch of different key terms. And we're good at search engine optimization. It's to the point where I haven't had to put a whole lot of focus on it recently. And I've actually just noticed that our rankings are starting to drop. So I'm going to have to kick up my own focus on this again, because there's more competitors. Google changes their algorithm and you constantly have to be putting out new, fresh blog content and updating your website and all sorts of things to make yourself and make your practice or your business's page rank higher on the Google search engine. So we're about to kick up our level of effort into this dramatically, just because I noticed we've lost a few slots in our rankings on several different keywords. So we also had a student recently ask a question about SEO, not understanding what it is. And so I figured this is a really good topic to talk about. In our courses, we actually have a full hour and a half of lessons. Sent her a nice video to show her where to find those. Hopefully she'll come across this podcast as well, because this is really important stuff, guys. And I know it is a lot of work to properly search engine optimize your website. It's a substantial amount of work. We already talked about the blog post, which is something that you have to do. You have to have blog posts. The current recommendation is to have blog posts that are no less than 500 words, but the more words tend to be the better, as long as they're high quality words. It's a blog article that's high quality, adds a lot of value. It's not just, generic fluffy information. So you want a blog posted every week, ideally, or even multiple times per week with relevant keywords, relevant topics that your potential patients, your potential business customers might be searching for when they are looking for a product or a service similar to the ones that you have to offer, right? So that's going to be, sort of step number one in terms of ongoing work related to search engine optimization. Regular blog content, no less than 500 words, ideally probably 800 words plus. There's a lot of, sort of new recommendations from the SEO experts saying that you got to have 800 words, 1,000 words, now even maybe 1,200 words in order for Google to pick it up as being high quality content. If you're not a techie, you haven't looked into this, you're probably wondering, how in the world does Google know, like, what is on my website? What are they looking for? Well, they have something called search web crawlers. These are basically, it's code. It's a computer generated system that goes around to all the different websites, the billions of websites that there are, and it looks through the code that's on your website. So they've got basically it's artificial intelligence essentially going to every single website and gathering information about every page on every website. And so in order for it to do that, you need to make sure that your website is set up and structured in a way that it not only has a substantial amount of information on it in the form of blogs and written text, but you also want to make sure that it's structured in a way that these bots, these computers, this AI can understand. And this is something that I talk about in the course as well, but I want to share it here too, because it's really important. But you need to make sure that you have certain tags. So let's go over what a tag is. Basically, in HTML code, there's like a sideways caret. It's basically the greater than and less than sign. And that is in code, we would write something like H1, the letter H and the number 1, and then encompass it in those two carets, those two brackets. And that right there is called a heading 1, a header 1, a couple different similar names for it. But H1 tag is what Google is, one of the things Google is searching for among many things, to know what the heading is of that particular piece of content. So it's very important that when you're writing web page content, that it's structured in a way that Google likes it. And it likes to have, in the same way that H1 is enclosed in brackets, those caret brackets, it likes to have title tags enclosed in brackets as well. And so those brackets basically help Google bots pinpoint exactly what the title is of that page, because they're located in those brackets, and in between the brackets it says title, and at the end of the title it has a slash in the word title, which means end title. It helps it understand what's going on the page. And nobody can see this, by the way. When somebody visits your page, they can't see this code. It happens in the background, but this is how the Google bots know what is happening. And there's different tools, and as you're building a website, the good website builders who know anything about SEO make sure this is all structured properly for you, but most don't. Most just throw up a website and have no clue how to actually optimize for good search engine results. And so this is why it's so important that you know it. You need to know the basic stuff at the very least to know if somebody's building your website knows what they're doing to help you get good search engine rankings. If you hire an SEO company, you need to know some of this basic stuff to make sure that you're asking the right questions and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and not just charging you a huge fee without giving you any results or doing it properly, because that is super common in the SEO space. Everybody in the world calls themselves an SEO expert. 90+% of people who call themselves SEO experts have no stinking clue what they're doing. It's just 3 letters that they can add to, their Upwork profile or whatever and make themselves sound good. None of them can actually get results. 90+% of them, I'm guaranteeing you cannot get results, because we've hired some of them and they're completely clueless. So you need to know this stuff if you want to not throw money down the drain and you want to have low cost leads. So in addition to those different brackets, there's a variety of them. I'm not going to cover them all here. There's brackets that in the code also describe images that are on your page. So those are called alt image tags, and that helps Google understand what's in your images. And so Google sort of compiles all of this information on your website and looks at those tags to understand what type of content is on your page. And then it internally has this algorithm to basically score your content. And if it's scored high, if it looks like it's high quality, then it's going to rank it higher on Google. So that's just a few of the things, way oversimplified, but that's one of the things in terms of on-site SEO that has to happen for your website to rank high on Google. And on-site SEO is the easiest stuff for you to control because it's all stuff that you can do. So it's things like posting those blogs. It's things like making sure that those tags are there, right? And it's the easiest stuff that you can possibly do to help Google help you by ranking your site higher, right? Now, if you're in a highly competitive market or a highly competitive business arena, it's going to be hard because there could be, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of other competitors all fighting for those same top spots on Google. And you have to be really good if you're trying to, get yourself in a top ranking spot on Google nationally or even internationally. If you're trying to do it locally, it's not terribly hard. It is challenging. You have to do all these things. You have to do them right. But typically it's not that hard because there's only maybe a dozen competitors or maybe 2 dozen. Just really kind of depends on what kind of business you're in, what services you're offering. But it's not as hard as trying to do it nationally because there's not hundreds or thousands of competitors like there are, at that national level. So those are some of the basic things. There's also something called off-site SEO. The main off-site SEO component to being able to rank is having other websites link back to your site. Now that's one of the harder things to do. Oftentimes it requires, you or somebody on your team writing a blog post for another company and maybe doing a blog swap. And then, in that blog that they write for your website, maybe you allow them to put one link back to their site and vice versa. That's one strategy. This is one of the hardest parts because Google looks at the quality of the websites that are linking to your site, not just the number of them. They're looking at the quality of them. And Google actually scores the quality of different websites based on how many people are linking back to it, among a bunch of other things. And so you want high quality websites linking to your site. Guest blogging is probably one of the more common ways to do it. You can sometimes pay for a link from, a higher end site that's got, they call it domain authority. If it has a lot of domain authority, Google gives it a high score. If it has a high score and it's linking to your website, Google is going to boost your domain authority and boost you up in the search results. So there's a lot that goes into this, and it would behoove you to really understand it. And, this is just some very basic concepts for you to understand. And you can go on YouTube or you can go on Google and look a little bit more in depth on them. And, the biggest thing for us, right, as business owners or as clinic owners is that this stuff is time consuming, right? We've spent, who knows, some of you have spent 6, some 8, some 10, some even 12 years studying to be a healthcare professional, to do what it is that you do. And you don't have another, year to spend learning how to be a search engine optimization expert. You need to find a way to outsource that easily. I totally know, sometimes we've offloaded blogs to other professionals to write them for us because I don't have time to write, high production blogs, that we need to attract people who are interested in, for example, starting a ketamine practice, because I have to dig through medical literature for hours to put those types of blogs together because they're geared towards medical professionals. And sometimes those blogs can take 4, 5, 6 hours to create. I don't have time for that. So we will hire experts.